back, baby. We are back. We are back. Welcome to Houston Soccer HQ. I'm Anthony Antoine.
And I'm Carolina Sanchez, and I was looking at the wrong camera because I don't know it.
Look at the red light. The red light.
The red light.
How you doing? So what's going on?
All right, this is episode 3. We've been kicking it.
You know, we're having a good time. We're making it super easy for everyone to kind of join in. Whenever you get here, you're going to stay here because if you don't know a lot about soccer, we're going to teach you. I'm going to introduce you to some of the people you really should know here in the community.
Yes, and there's so much soccer to be had this summer. And
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that great?
Isn't it great? And Fox is covering so much of it. And we've got the women's UEFA that just kicked off today. Yeah. Gold Cup's hitting the semifinals. Ooh. Club World Cup is hitting the quarterfinals. Ooh. Like, it is crazy.
Yeah, lots of good players, too. And if you're not familiar with some of the players, man, get to know them. You know what I mean? Like, all the way around, whether it's club or countries that are playing right now in the Gold Cup, there's so much talent on the field, and we're leading up to the World Cup in 2026. And, of course, Houston's one of the host cities, so it's going to be in our backyard. So this is a good time to become knowledgeable about all of it.
Yes, and who better to gain knowledge from than people who know this sport way better than me and you, baby? Because we're joined by 2 epic legends.
Let's go.
We've got Pat Onstad.
Yeah,
come on, he's the president of soccer for the Houston Dynamo, but he also, played for the Dynamo.
Was all right.
And then played for Canada.
We'll
so, he got a little,
all right.
And next to you, Anthony.
Here we go.
We got Angela Hucles Mangano, the president of women's soccer for the Houston Dash, and baby, an Olympic gold medalist, okay? Played for the World Cup team, hit third place twice. Come on, she knows her stuff too.
Yes, she does.
All right, so before we dive into your personal careers and how great y'all are doing, let's talk about your individual clubs. Yeah. How are they doing? How's it been?
We're both hesitating because we're both like, well, probably not where we want it to be. We're 3 points, I think, out of a playoff spot, so it's been a difficult season for us. Last 2 years, we're really successful. We won a trophy in 23 and a U.S. Open Cup, and last year had the most points in club history. So we thought this year we'd piggyback off, but unfortunately we sold, in a good sense, we sold our center back to Palmeiras, who's was playing in the Club World Cup. In fact, I think they actually won. They're still playing.
They're still in it. They're still in it.
So Mikel, you'll actually get to see him. He played the last 50 minutes of the last game to hang on, to get through. So we've been struggling a little bit defensively, but team seems to be rounding into form here heading down the stretch.
If someone's watching and they're not familiar, like, why is that like a good thing when a player can move on and like kind of go up?
Well,
in the club,
sometimes I think the fan from outside would say, well, you're hurting your club. Why are you trading your best player? But that's the way our sport works. Palmeiras is one of the top 8 best club teams in the world, and it's a badge of honor that we got to develop him. It's also his childhood team. He's from Brazil, so it's difficult. And financially for him, his contract probably doubled or tripled going there. So it's a good opportunity. And we have a salary cap league. It makes it very difficult to hold on to those type of players. Generally speaking, we're a good league, but we're not at that level yet. We're still working to get there. And until we get there, these opportunities that come up, it's nice to generate some more money and hopefully spend that on the team and keep moving forward and trying to improve the squad that way.
Love that. Angela, same question for you.
Yeah, I think similar, I guess, to the Dynamo. We know on the Dash side, we are definitely looking at, I would say, a rebuilding season. We have 10 new players to the roster. We have a new head coach. I'm 6 months into this position myself as well. So we are a game and a half out of playoffs right now. And the NWSL is probably one of the most competitive leagues in the world. So when we look at that table, every single week, every single game is competitive for us. And, you have a few teams that are kind of at the top of the table, but pretty much everywhere else along that table, grinding it out, looking to get those wins. And now we are actually coming out of an NWSL mandated week off for the players. So we have a rejuvenated squad looking at attacking the second
and fresh
legs.
Season.
Absolutely.
So what do you want to tell the fans? Because it's something that you struggle at Shell Energy is like getting the fans to come in. What are we doing in this season and the upcoming years to build that fandom? Obviously, we want to support as much as possible because we want to grow the love of the game. And unfortunately, in the United States, it's still, we're still working to make that happen. So what are you guys doing to build that excitement?
Yeah, I think I do feel like it's different with the Dynamo and the Dash in terms of the dynamics within the community. And for us, we really want to make sure that people know we are here and that we exist, right? And that stems from the community build. I think it's, top down and bottom up in terms of our connection, building community connections and getting out there so that people know that we are here, that we are in this great new era. I think when we look at women's professional soccer in general too, this is a moment in time where we are seeing shifts of higher transfer fees. We're seeing shifts in higher payment for these players. We just had a sale of a player, Tarsian, who went to a club in Europe for a very high transfer fee, one of the highest that there
Can you
have
share?
ever been.
Can you share that dollar amount?
We'll just say it was a package of 7 figures.
Whoa, that's good.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
This is a time where we're seeing a lot of attention, a lot of growth in the women's game, and that's something we really want to capitalize on. And we want to build a new fan base. We want to build from the existing one and continue to connect with our community to get more people out there to see the games.
And just to piggyback off that, like in the NWSL, like we're seeing expansion and growth too, because I think like Peyton Manning just invested in another team.
Yeah.
You're hearing big time athletes from different sports
Yep.
acknowledging the growth of the women's game.
100%. And I think, there's a recognition that this is not a charity, right? This is professional. There's real dollars. There's real investment. The media rights deals that are now happening for our league alone, is an indication of that growth. And so when we see other, it's not just about the big name, stars getting involved, but they are too. It's really looking at how even from, let's say, 3 years ago, an expansion fee, 4 years ago, expansion fee could have been or was about $3 million for a team, which is, now we're looking at $140 million. Wow. So that is the type of fast growth that we're talking about with real dollars.
That's the way to paint it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Good investment to get involved 3 years ago.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right, you guys both have in your clubs players who are going and being called up by their countries, and right now in the Gold Cup, Jack McGlynn out the gate during the group stage was showing up and showing out. How does that feel?
He's it's great. I mean, tonight plays Guatemala, so that'll be fun to watch. Yeah. Hopefully, U.S. win, and we can see him here Sunday at Energy Stadium. That's the ultimate goal for the U.S. team is to make the final. And
we
we'd
actually
like to
have a
play.
video. Let's take a look at this video, right?
There we go. Is this him smashing the goal?
Oh, you
top?
know the
you
one.
already
Of course.
This is what he's
That's
playing.
If you do elect to play that type of ball for
Yeah.
basketball, it needs to
Well,
be
we
quicker, it needs to be
got
early.
taken extra time against these guys, which wasn't great.
I mean,
Then we brought
That
Jack on and we
placement.
finished it off. It was brought a few guys on that could finish it off.
but
it was,
that's basically almost the identical shot that he scored for Team USA.
yeah,
off
against
that left
It
foot.
was a Turkey, I believe. It
Against
was a
Turkey,
yeah. He hit that one probably a little more direct, but he's we started him a little bit deeper in midfield, and now we pushed him higher up the field. And coming in on the right side with his left foot, he can score goals like that. But he can also play a final pass for us. So. We miss him right now, being away at the national team. We got a game against San Diego this weekend. We'd like to see him on the field, but hopefully he's preparing for a final on Sunday in Energy
Are
Stadium.
you already getting calls and offers for that guy?
We're getting some interest. There's definitely some interest for him. But we're working hard to try to keep him happy here for a little while and see if we can keep him secured here with the Dynamo until the World Cup.
Yeah, because even as you penetrate more into the community, like a guy like that could really be someone people can latch on to because of the style of play and he's
100%.
performing really well on the field, right?
Yeah, it's an exciting American player.
Yeah,
Somebody, probably they're trying to think back, maybe a Brad Davis, Stuart Holden, Jeff Cameron were the kind of the American guys that have had success here. And then it's been a while since we probably had that type of player, a U.S. guy who's going to be in with the national team. He'll have his work cut out for him to make the final squad, but I think he's got a good chance. He's interesting player, brings something different that they don't necessarily have in their group.
What have y'all thought about the Gold Cup so far?
For me, it's been exciting. I've been a little disappointed because I am Canadian.
So
notice I am wearing this is Guatemalan blue. It should be a little.
that was painful.
It was very painful, and it was disappointing because I actually think their last games where Jesse Marsh wants that team to grow it was an opportunity lost. So they'll have to fight back and try to figure it out because it's the last real competitive tournament they're going to have before the World Cup. And for Canada's sake, they've got a really good team, an exciting team to watch. But I think they didn't have the Gold Cup that they'd hoped for.
And someone who played keeper and watching those penalty kickouts, and you actually won 2006
Yeah,
on that
yeah.
final save in the penalty.
Yeah, that was nice.
So are you sitting there like, oh my God, I could have done it?
Yeah, it's all
Right.
it's all preparation. All the goalie coaches will tell you it's the goalie coach that organized it and stuff like. No, but it's preparation. And you saw what happened with the U.S. team. It was pretty impressive.
Baby, Matt Freese.
Yeah,
held it
Matt
down.
Freese was awesome. Yeah, he's a superhuman now, right?
Right.
Freese, the new superhero. He looked built like one as well.
But after Landon Donovan tore into that ass, he made some very grave mistakes.
We can say that on the air.
Today we are.
Yeah,
We're
all
letting it
right,
fly.
all right, I like
man. We're
that.
letting it
I
fly.
like that.
I think I can
Yeah,
say that
okay.
word.
Okay.
But would y'all have chosen Matt Freese over Matt Turner for an elimination game?
Angela, you want to take that? Or you want? I mean, I could take it.
Yeah, you played goalie.
I mean, I guess I'm the local expert on this panel. I'll go on this panel. But what I would say is, no, I wouldn't. I still think Matt Freese will probably tell you, like the second goal, he spills a pretty big rebound, and he's probably disappointed in that it got that far to the final. But you needed, and I thought Landon actually summed it up. This is when you need big moments are made for big players, and he stepped up, made 3 saves and 6 penalty kicks, and that's pretty unheard of. I used to go into penalty kick shootout going, I know I'm going to stop 1. If I can stop 2, we should win it. I never think I need to stop 3 to actually win it. Yeah. So for him to do that is pretty special. But he's a great coming young goalkeeper in our league, and he's exciting. He's exciting. We'll see. But that'll be a tricky position for the U.S. to figure out here heading in down the stretch.
And make no mistake about it, getting to the final is the bare minimum for that team, right? The expectation is to advance to that final. So it's good. And now, Angela, also, you have some players from the Dash as well that are playing for their countries. Just talk about where they're at and just some of the development that you're seeing right now.
Yeah, I think it's exciting. And, obviously with the Gold Cup and just having major tournaments that, we get to watch more high-level play. I think for our team as well, there are about 10 different international players that we have from not just the United States and not just the full team, but the youth national team as well. Maggie being one of those on the youth national team. We just had Yasmin and Avery come back from the U.S. scoring their first international goals for Team USA. Michelle and Barb as well. And so I think it's great when you have Sarah Punningham as another player as well on the national team to have this type of experience, right? Whenever you can bring international experience into the club environment, that lifts everyone else up, right? And I think when we get right the reintegration, when you go away to national team camp, how they can bring back that level and sustain that level and bring the others up around them. So, the tricky part, as Pat can attest to as well, is when you have a number of national team players when they're away on break, what you do to really shape the roster so that you can account for that. Again, and I think this is something where we're looking across the league and we're seeing double digits for most teams, in the NWSL right now with, international breaks having to subsidize. And what does that look like for the roster when you're still playing here at home?
Wow. And if someone's never been to a Dash game, who are some of the women on that team that they should really know?
Yeah, I mean, all of them.
All of them, yes.
Period.
Yes, yeah.
Who's the team captain, who's leading the charge for you?
Yeah, and I think we have a 5-player leadership group right now, and that's from consistent starters to, change makers coming off the bench, some international players, as well as, long timers and veterans. And so I think having that mix is really exciting. What's been really nice, I think, especially from our U.S. players, when you look at an Avery Patterson, right, a younger player who's come up with the Dash team, getting some great quality minutes, being identified by Emma Hayes, a new, U.S. national team coach, and then getting her first goal. Like when you see that progression take shape, I think that's really fun and exciting. And then you get to watch her, amongst other great players in your own backyard.
Do y'all see when they come back from international break? Do you see your players have a different kind of strut, like an extra,
a little swagger,
a little swagger?
I would hope so. But yeah, and I think that's a badge of honor, right? You would want that, you expect that. We want to have players who can hold that space, and bring that little bit of swagger back. And, ultimately that's something that players can feed off of. We want players to go into each game, starting each game confidently, to be able to hold that space as well.
All right, I think let's get into the Gold Cup a little bit and get into some of the games. All right, so today, let's take a look at some of the games we got here today. Team USA taking on Guatemala. We also have, that game is at 6 o'clock in St. Louis, Missouri. Then we also have Mexico and Honduras. That is at 9 p.m. in Santa Clara, California. Those are the graph. There you go, right there. That's the graphic. Okay, let's go. What do you guys got here? Come on, give me a pick.
I mean, USA till I die.
USA, right? All the way.
USA till I die.
USA for sure.
Okay.
No problem.
Guatemala's playing really well, though, right? How do you guys think about after that defeat of Canada?
I don't know how well Guatemala played
Okay.
or how badly Canada
Fair,
played. So
fair,
I think the U.S. will be prepared for this game, and it's a massive game. I mean, like to your point, it's final or bust for them, and I think they've slowly grown into this tournament. So it'll be exciting to watch to see how they do tonight.
Yeah, and I think that's what you want to see, right? A team growing into the tournament, peaking at the right time. And I think U.S. has definitely done that, and it is a big game. To feel that pressure of a must-win game, I think it's a great test for them.
And it's kind of cool to see some of the kids really starting to emerge. Some names that people might not have been familiar with before. Malik jumps to mind.
Oh,
Like
Malik Tillman,
he's been
absolutely.
playing,
He's been awesome.
playing great.
Awesome.
It's cool to see that development too, out of the group stages into now heading into the semifinal. And then we also have one more game. You
Mexico
guys?
and Honduras.
All right, Mexico, Honduras. Gato, what you got?
I don't know. I gotta hear what y'all gonna say before I answer.
It sounds a lot better when you say it too, by the way.
Right.
So Mexico or Honduras?
For me, I'll go with Mexico.
Mexico. Yeah, Mexico, me too.
So
Yo
what we're-
también.
Oh, no.
There we go.
So what we're hearing, I'm going to go Mexico as well. So I'm just saying,
know.
because I think a U.S.-Mexico final at NRG here in Houston on a Sunday, 6 o'clock. Come on.
Let's go.
That's the type of energy you want to see here in the city.
All right, listen. People know me for two teams, Colombia and USA. But I am catracha. You know. My mom is Honduran, so I have to go for Honduras.
There we
And
go.
I am an American outlaw, so I will never go for Mexico. But if we see them this Sunday at NRG, 2-0, baby, and I will be cussing them out.
But shout out to Honduras, though. I really like that kit they had.
Baby, that black and gold.
That black and gold, that was fire.
That black and gold was really nice.
I love it, love it, love it.
All right, let's take a quick break.
Yep,
Let's take a quick break, and then we're going to play a little game. Y'all are down?
Down.
It'll be this or that, so y'all got to get personal.
Oh, goodness.
do it.
Here we go.
All right, y'all stay right there. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Houston Soccer HQ. We've got Pat Onstad and Angela Hucles Mangano with us. Got to know them a little bit, but we're going to get to know them a little better, right?
Let's do it.
We're going to play a little game of this or that. All right, first up, would you rather play on grass or on turf?
Grass.
Grass.
Why?
So just come on. This is what the
Natural.
game was made for.
That's what the game was made for. Fair. All right, here we go. Next up, you want to play in the cold or the heat?
Cold.
Oh, we'll take the heat. We're in Houston.
Even from
Let's
Canada.
go.
Oh,
Sorry?
wow. even
Canada.
from
But, I
yeah.
mean, but
Let's take the heat.
he
We're
had
in Houston.
glory in Houston, baby.
Yes,
Come
that's
on,
true.
he had
Yeah,
glory in
that's
So
true.
even on that point, is that like an advantage for like the Dynamo being in the heat here against another team coming into town?
Teams. I mean, who was it? Oliver Giroud in his press conference when he signed with LA. He says, "Yeah, I talked to Zlatan and Zlatan said, no, you'll love MLS except for Houston in the summer."
That's why I'd rather play in the cold. It's our advantage
Yeah.
being here in the heat.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You'd rather play in the
I'd rather play in the
but
heat.
you'd rather host in the heat.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go.
All right, so would you rather be the team favorite or the underdog?
I'll take favorite. It means we have a good team.
He's like, we got
Yeah.
more chances
Yeah.
that way.
I like the underdog mentality, but being the favorite.
Okay,
That's
fair.
fair.
Can I merge?
Yeah, sure. It's your world. It's your
Okay.
world.
Ain't
It's
no
your world.
rules.
All right. Would you save or score a hat trick and lose, or play poorly and your team wins?
Don't play poorly and win. No doubt.
Poorly. and
Wait, even
I'm
even
not
if
a
you
striker. I'm a
trick?
goalkeeper. So, like, you're asking a goalkeeper,
no,
would you rather
save.
win or lose?
That's why you said
Save
save.
or
We wrote that
score.
for you.
Save. Like,
Save
Yeah,
or
you'd
score.
block 3.
no, it's still
Team
just-
sport.
Still
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
Sport. We'll both improve
If
on the next game.
Yeah, exactly. Trust me, I had plenty of those where I stunk and we won. I was pretty happy.
Like, shoo.
Would you rather be a starter for a mid team or benched for an elite club?
That's a good question. Depends on what stage of my career is
All right.
and what the salaries are. No, I think for me, I'd rather play. I always wanted to play. That was certainly my career. I did.
I've been both. I've been in both situations.
You actually were on the bench? When were you on the bench
Yeah.
in your career?
Definitely. Well, U.S. team.
Okay,
It wasn't until the latter part of my career that I actually starting. That's probably one of my statistics, being one of the longest standing U.S. team players. That's
well, there you go. So,
not really a starter. I had a role. I knew what that was, and I showed up. But I think there's so much learning from that as well, and getting better in that development. But that's a hard question. I mean, but
you enjoyed your career, so playing both roles is fine.
yeah, but I probably
And that's
agree with
a
that.
fantastic. I mean, you were talking about the women's national team. That's
True.
where you're not playing.
True.
Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Tough
that's
to
the best
play.
team in the-
Yeah.
That's the best team in the world
Best
for
team
those
in
of
the
you that are
world.
following.
These are hard questions.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I just want to get to know you guys a little bit more on a personal level. All right, next up we've got win for your club or country.
Ooh,
Both.
that's a tricky one.
That's
You
a
can't
trick
say both.
question.
You can't say both. She can't
It's-
say. She can't get away with both.
Yeah, okay, you got to say one or the other.
That
That has a point.
What?
That has a
I
point.
know,
Come
I know.
on. Win for your club or country.
I'd say, I mean, it's pretty special winning for your country.
I'll go country as well. But I could say it's a little easier for me to say. You won a lot with your country. I was with Canada before they were any good, and we didn't win too often. So when you win, you're pretty excited.
And also, that's been kind of the topic of conversation too around the men's national team. All right, playing for country, even in the Gold Cup, getting that last like tune-up before you head into the World Cup. Any thoughts on that as well? As these players are going to be eventually trying to come back to the team and getting there together to get ready for the national. Is the Gold Cup that important for that team to kind of get some cohesion as they head into the World Cup?
Let's say what we're not saying, which is like not the injured players, but the players who are deciding to play for a Club World Cup instead, who are choosing to play for their club and not be on the Gold Cup.
Yeah, I think.
roster.
Well, I think if I'm not mistaken, my understanding is that for the Club World Cup, that they didn't have a choice; they were playing with the club, or that was certainly the emphasis to go to the Club World Cup instead of a Gold Cup. So I think those guys, I think you kind of exclude. Like Canada had Steven Estacios playing with Porto, and there's a few guys that way. But Alphonso Davies is injured, but he would be with Bayern Munich. But I think this tournament is a very important tournament for both the U.S. and Canada. We're talking about those two teams specifically to lead into the World Cup. It's the last competitive tournament they have. But I'm not going to get into the political argument.
no.
That's for
All
sure.
right. We gotta try. We gotta
For
try.
sure.
I respect it.
And because I know he played a lot of games in a high pressure environment, and if he doesn't get this break, that means he's going to go float straight into a World Cup, and he might be playing for 20 some odd months consecutively. That's I've never been fortunate enough to be in that position, so I'm certainly not going to unless I walk a mile in his shoes, I'm not going to make judgment on it.
Yeah.
Well said.
Well said.
She's like,
well said. Well said.
would you rather eat a little or a lot before a game?
Little.
Yeah, same. Little.
Like, what are y'all eating?
I mean, it's more the 24, 48 hour leading into the game preparation with hydration and carbo loading, and but before a game, it's like typically 3 to 4 hours before a match that you're having a pregame meal. So, that's protein, veggies, and a little bit more of a lighter carbo load.
Angela ran like 12 kilometers a game.
It's a midfielder. It's a
I sat around
midfielder.
and walked. I walked about 2 miles the most. So my diet was a little different than the field players. Lunchtime pizza. That sounds fine. I'm not have to run around.
He was
It's
a quick
problem.
cat,
A little different.
Yeah, light on his feet.
Light on
right?
feet.
Yeah, sure. That's what it was.
All right, Angela, this one's for you. Get a goal or an assist.
Goal.
Goal.
Definitely.
What does that feel like when you score a goal for your country?
It's amazing. But I mean, in the moment, you're just like, sweet, let's go. Let's keep going. But yeah, I think looking back at that and having some time to reflect, it's the extreme, especially as a forward, that is your goal. So you feel like you're doing the thing that you were supposed to be doing for your team and in your role, and taking that responsibility.
Do you have a favorite goal?
I would say any of my Olympic goals in 2008.
All of them.
All of them.
All of them.
All four of them. All four of them.
Save a scream or a penalty?
Penalties had some big moments, stopping penalties, but I'd rather have a big save in a moment in a game. That's
All right, we got 20 seconds. So who are you rooting for in the World Cup if it's not USA or Canada?
she's gonna go there.
Geez.
10 seconds. Come on.
Argentina. I'll go with Argentina.
Mexico.
What? Get out of here. No, fuera. All right.
That's a good place.